We are about to do the nerdiest vlog yet.
Is it really nerdy?
Yes, because we are 3 adults in our 20s who went to the premiere of the My Little Pony movie.
Late 20s. Yes, quite.
My little pony, what is friendship all about? My little pony, friendship is magic. I used to wonder what friendship could be.
Yes, we have absolutely no shame, so we actually went to the viewing of the My Little Pony movie. Did it have a title?
It did have
Girls.
It was My Little Pony
Equestria
Girls, which is going to cause an insane amount of confusion because according to the internets, this is supposed to be essentially the introduction for the miniseries My Little Pony Equestria Girls. Well, that's the rumor on the grapevine anyway. And what was it? To the audience that doesn't know what My Little Pony is, apparently if they've been living on the moon,
like Princess Luna,
like Princess Luna. I want to go into it?
Yeah.
Okay, My Little Pony was essentially something that was started way back when Hasbro decided to make cartoons, in which case they could sell. They
sell toys.
They'd sell toys. So in other words, I think they made the G.I. Joe, they made the Transformers, and one of the lines for girls that they would have was My Little Pony. And it essentially, it was almost had a retro feel because it was very old. There was a Generation 1, which was pretty successful. And then it went to Generation 2, which was, started to get a little bit more girly. And then, according to what everyone says, Generation 3 is almost unwatchable.
Pretty much.
Alright, but what ended up happening is Lauren Faust, what essentially Hasbro and the Hub went to Lauren Faust and said, hey, we would like to reboot the series. Now, Lauren Faust is in charge, was responsible for the writing and directing of a lot of shows that essentially was very...
Off the top of our heads, it's like Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I think there's plenty more that I don't even know off the top of my head.
I think she had Life of a Teenage Robot, too.
Oh, she did.
Maybe it's possible. So in other words, what all these things really had in common is that they always had their own style of art.
Yeah. And they were never really gender specific. Like they'd be all for female.
They'd have
positive female characters,
but they didn't have such stereotypical female traits.
Like it was their idea was that they want everyone to watch this, not just one particular gender.
They have a very new idea of what Disney's doing nowadays, where they have really strong characters, and that's what she's known for. She's known for having really strong, really in-your-face characters that if you can't really relate to them, you still like them because for what they are. I mean, and this is one of the things that My Little Pony essentially had. It's using all Flash, so it has a very, very fluid, very simplistic kind of design to it. But what really draws you in is that the characters are essentially ponies, and all of them have very distinct personalities, and all of them are incredibly strong female leads. And
there's the occasional background male, but
more or less.
That's the one thing that this show does different than past My Little Pony shows, is that they actually show guy ponies. I mean, they did show them in Generation 2, but it was in a stereotypical teenage high school setting.
Ooh, boys!
Yeah, like that. Where in this case, they're kind of incorporated as a whole. It doesn't matter what gender they'd have; they'd all be the same.
The funny thing is that there actually is a ratio. I think it's 1 male. If you look in the background, there's literally 1 male to about 7 females, and apparently this is how the world works. But that's what it is. The world, what they live in, is the ponies essentially have a very natural community-based, everyone knows each other, everyone's has a very simplistic kind of feel to it. And they're in this world where monsters exist, magic exists, and this can lead to a whole bunch of different problems. A lot of the episodes like to emphasize friendship and the aspects of doing such. In fact, it's a theme for the entire show. But every now and again, they'll throw in a supernatural element. Like, one episode of My Little Pony, the gang has to go and move a dragon because his snoring is essentially polluting the entire valley. And this is all about their the trials and tribulations of them getting there, and then how the hay are ponies supposed to move a dragon.
There's also a similar thing with Cerberus.
Yes, apparently there's a lot of friggin' Roman and Greek themes to go with it. They got griffins, they got a little good stuff though. But every now and again they have a an episode that is very much slice of life. It's all about like them playing matchmaker. There was one episode where these little girls tried to play matchmaker to adults, which ended in hilarity. There was another episode about two of the main characters' personalities conflicting with each other, and they're being forced to stay inside during a storm during their friend's sleepover party. So they have to learn to work with each other in order to not disappoint their friend, as well as dealing with the crap with the storm's going on. So there's a lot. You get variety, and the point, I think, the fact that it's actually ponies was able to surprise so much is my feeling about is another thing about why this fandom kind of exploded, because it's supposed to be something you're not supposed to like, and most of the fan base is actually adult males, and I'm pretty sure you'll see loads of documentaries online. Just look for it if you're interested. But we're here to talk about. Yeah, I'm sorry, I went into a rant. I'm sorry, I'm a brony. Pretty hardcore.
Well, we also we went to a panel about a year or two ago at Anime Next, and this guy was also talking about how there's a lot of mythology and a lot of common themes. So that could also be an attracting factor.
The world kind of builds itself, and that's one thing that the Hub and a lot of shows these days do, is they actually listen to the audience, and they make it so that the universe is built by the fandom.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it...
They're not just trying to sell toys anymore.
Yeah.
They're actually trying to make, like, legitimately interesting shows that that transcend the... buy our toy thing.
Which is actually like one of the reasons why I think Equestria Girls was even made, because a lot of it seems like stuff you can find in DeviantArt. Like I said, like the kind of like idea, because everyone
it felt to me like a fan fiction come to life.
Whenever there's a cartoon character, someone's gonna animeize it or humanize it, and this is what I feel like. Is it's like, oh, let's look at DeviantArt. Hey, these designs look good. Let's try this.
I couldn't help but feel this movie is sort of like an experiment, because a lot of arguments I hear from people who don't like My Little Pony is the fact that, it's about ponies, and they believe that people who like it, have some sort of, like, furry fetish or whatever.
They be hating!
So I'm thinking, like, this movie was an experiment to say, well, what if we made them human? What if, we take the exact same traits and put them in a human body?
I can relate to hands, and hair, and faces.
And see if that would work any better toward convincing the public. But the thing is, like, they don't completely go human. Like, for some reason, they still retain their color. Like, this is
like an episode of Doug.
Yeah!
Pretty much.
Yeah. Cedar was blue.
All the humans are, like, multicolored, and they're all based on, like, their otherworldly counterparts. And for some reason, they still have their cutie marks, but it's more like jewelry and pattern design and everything.
It's like it ends up
self-referential,
which is what I kind of liked in the character design. We'll get to that later. I mean, like, ooh, God. But what was it? The thing is, like, a lot of them had the motifs that made them their character and stuff like that. So you'll see that one of the characters, Fluttershy, her cutie mark is a butterfly. She has a little beret in her hair that has a butterfly. Rarity, who's big on fashion and gemstones, she has a gemstone pattern on her dress.
Like Pinkie Pie has balloons on her.
Yeah, on her dress. So like I said, there's a motif on their person. It's not exactly at their hip like it usually is with a pony.
I think like Snips and Snails, they have their cutie marks on their shirt.
One thing though, cutie marks essentially is once again goes to the supernatural element where every pony has their own special talent. And when they find that special talent, a tattoo magically appears on their ass. I'm not even it's just how it works. It's just how they roll.
Yeah.
Other things. So.
But thankfully, it's not like the old days where their cutie mark like completely defined them.
Yeah.
Because of course, if someone like say it's what's a good example, like Applejack, like she was in the Generation 1, and yeah, she had apples on on her butt.
So her talent was apples, all apples all the time. Nah, it's
pretty much that's all they showed her doing, just collecting apples.
Yeah.
But then we in the show we actually get sort of an explanation as to why. It's like she actually tried other things before deciding that was what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
It just so happened that's what her family happened.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's a common theme with a lot of episodes, particularly when it comes to some side characters. There's like they call the Cutie Mark Crusaders, because what it is a bunch of kids that are trying to find what their special talent is, because it's almost like a rite of passage. Like once you figure out what you're good at, essentially everything else kind of falls into place. I mean, I would say again, Rarity was she likes doing gemstones in her fashion designs, and so that kind of led her to what she was good at, more or less. So it just makes things easier and just nice to know. I mean, I can understand if you want to know what the heck you are. Sucks to get a lame one, but you know, you kind of do what Celestia gives you.
You can make it work.
Yeah.
You can make it work.
Okay.
So, like, I think the only bit of backstory in order to lead you into the movie is
spoilers.
Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning! Spoiler warning!
If you have not seen the last episode of season 3, do not continue.
No, you gotta go like this. But you can still appreciate her looks if you do that.
Well, the one big thing you have to know is that after the last season finale, Twilight had passed her final test for Celestia with flying colors, and yeah, she created a spell that ended up backfiring, messing up her friend's cutie marks, but she managed to fix them, and somehow in the process that resulted in her passing her final test with Celestia, and now she has become a princess.
And an alicorn.
And an alicorn, so she has wings and a horn now.
Yeah, so basically. There's unicorns, pegasi, and earth ponies, and pegasi, of course, have wings, and unicorns have a horn that allows them to use magic. If you're an alicorn, you have both, and apparently that's like a thing that if you're an alicorn, you're automatically royalty, because, hey, what the hell, it comes with all kinds of these cool powers. Yeah. The thing with that is, essentially, there's a lot of theories online about what that is, though, but of course you're going to have to develop, like, the creators must have been like, oh, she did this now, we can go with it. But there's a lot of theories online where she evolved essentially by understanding a metaphysical concept such as friendship, and that by doing so, she essentially discovered like she went through an apoptosis. I don't think I'm saying that right. Essentially, she evolved from unicorn into alicorn, and like this is a cool little like Pokemon screen kind of thing going on, you know. Tried pushing B, but it was too late.
Yeah. So the whole plot of the movie is that having become a new princess now, she's unsure of what to do because, you know, like even though she grew up around royalty, she doesn't know how to be royalty. She doesn't really know how to be a leader since, you know, the most she's done is lead her 6 friends. How do you really lead a whole like community of different ponies?
It works with her character that she has the capability to, but she doesn't have the confidence. Confidence is an issue with the main character, like for a lot of the stories, even though she's supposedly the one that's supposed to save the day all the time. She's the one that leads everyone out of turmoil and everything. So that works. It works out.
Yeah.
So.
And the big plot point is that there's this one pony who was a former student of Celestia. What was her name again?
Starlight Shimmer.
Yeah, Starlight Shimmer. Like nice juxtaposed to Twilight Sparkle, I guess. She breaks.
I just realized that.
She essentially breaks into Twilight's room while she's sleeping and steals her crown, which is one of the elements of harmony.
Because somehow she knew it was going to be there.
We're probably going to need some backstory with this one.
One of the big things, like from the original My Little Pony, like their big weapon was the Rainbow of Light, which always defeated their enemies. In the new version, they have the elements of harmony, which are basically like 6 pieces of jewelry, like 5 necklaces, 1 crown, and when
all Twilight, the 5 are combined, another...
There's Captain Planet.
It creates a super mega rainbow, which defeats whatever threat.
And this is a thing that plays a lot in this series. The elements of harmony is supposed to be physical manifestations of what it means to have friendship. You'll have your generosity, your honesty, your loyalty, your laughter, your kindness, and finally all five of those combined produce the magic of friendship.
Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. There's Captain Planet everywhere. It's just, there's rainbows of light. Everything's magical. Anyway, so what ends up happening is, while this thing is supposed to be the magic of friendship, what the series does a lot with it is that it is essentially a weapon. It's a weapon that's designed to defend harmony that comes with Equestria, where all the ponies grow up. And what happens is each one of the main 6 personifies one of those elements, which allows them to use it. And what this generally tends to happen is when they use it on a villain, there is villains, and they are very dangerous. There's actually some really dark themes that come with it.
The season starts off with and ends with... usually starts off with like some big villain. Like you have the first one is
Celestia's banished sister that was still consumed by hate and rage and became Nightmare Moon.
Nightmare Moon.
Yeah.
Then you have the second one, who is
the god of chaos.
Yeah, he's Discord. And then you have King Sombra, the former king of the Crystal Empire. Oh, but we also forgot one.
Chrysalis.
Chrysalis. Yeah. But yeah, so basically you have all these beginning of the series big baddies that usually require them to use the elements of harmony.
You know why I like Sombra? Enslaves ponies. For kids. Sorry, I knew you did that. Anyway, that's the thing with that is, for a lot of these villains, not all of them, for a lot of these villains, what they would do is they would harness the power of the elements of harmony, and they would shoot a magical rainbow, and this essentially works as a Deus Ex Machina. At one point, all it really does is turn things to stone or redirect any kind of hate or like rage or something like that and turn it back into love and friendship. And at other times, it just turns things to stone. It just stones everything. Just everything gets petrified. But the more they kind of utilize with it, the more powers it seems to have, which makes it seem like a Deus Ex Machina. And those things need to be handled very, very carefully, because look at this, they can easily solve all the problems. They can easily do a lot of things with it, but we'll get to that as we go forward into it.
Anyway, so
Twilight Sparkle chases down Shimmer through the castle, and she ends up escaping through this magic mirror with the crown.
But the crown goes through the mirror first. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to know.
Alright.
And when she goes to tell Celestia about it, Celestia reveals, who Shimmer is, and why she's doing this. Well, she doesn't know completely why, but she does know that she's doing it for a bad reason, and reveals that the mirror is a portal to another dimension. It's kind of weird to explain. It's exactly like the Pony World, except humans. Because it's right down to the same exact characters and sort of the same setting.
Mirror.
And the same names and the same kinds of themes and vibes.
The only difference is they're in human bodies.
And
they still retain the color, they still retain their looks, they still retain their names and most of their personalities, but they're just human. And it's a high school setting. So this is basically, she's entering into a fanfic.
Yeah, so the gang faces the greatest challenge yet. High school. Alright, but they did do something else. What happens next? Actually, she enters the human world. And I think this was very clever how they did. I think it was very nice that they kept that.
I guess she's trying to get used to blending in with the humans.
Yeah. They play the part right where a horse all of a sudden has to walk on 2 legs and use its fingers, and of course freak out moments ensue. So
and here's the weird thing, Celestia wouldn't allow her 5 other friends to come with her, saying that this is something she has to do alone, yet Spike still follows.
Well, he ran after her and they probably couldn't stop him. The thing is, her explanation is that if all 6 of them are there, it would have caused, you would have created, a paradox or something like that, or you would have messed around. You would have messed with the whole... Because apparently Celestia never went into the mirror herself, so she doesn't know.
I call bullshit on that. I'm pretty sure she has... Trollestia.
Anyway. What was the main thing, though, which I thought was really clever, but if you actually listen to the dialogue, Pinky makes a mention that she saw someone like Twilight Sparkle in the city. Mm-hmm. So this whole thing might have actually taken place before the gang even knew each other, and before Twilight Sparkle moved to Ponyville. Like, because that's what happens in the beginning of the series, where she moves to the Ponyville, and
I was kind of saying that this whole thing sort of,
which is great. I mean, that was awesome.
Before the Nightmare Moon episode.
Yeah.
Because when Twilight meets human Fluttershy, it's kind of the same setting.
Yeah.
Like, even the same dialogue, in a way. So, foreshadowing.
Well, there's like a lot of similarities to that episode, like how she reacts to seeing Spike, how Rarity I think reacts to seeing Spike, the way Pinkie Pie acts.
Right.
Challenging Rainbow Dash, challenging Twilight Sparkle to a competition of some variety. If it's not shooting 5 soccer balls into a hoop, it's getting rid of the cloak in the skies.
Yeah, so she basically runs into all of her friends from the Pony World, but this is their, human
Some
world
of them
versions.
are not friends.
Actually, all of them are not friends. Like, that's the difference. That's kind of the difference they did as opposed to the Pony World, because in the Pony World, they knew each other, but they didn't become friends until Twilight became their friend.
They didn't become besties.
Yeah.
They were probably friends, but they weren't besties.
But in this
until
version,
Twilight Sparkle.
in the human world, they apparently did start off as friends, but through a series of miscommunications, they all ended up hating each other. So
through the wonders of text message.
Yeah, that's another thing to note, is that in this human world, it's basically the same time period as ours, because you see everyone using computers and iPhones.
And smartphones, yeah, that was a good thing. Awesome.
Yeah, and so of course it's another thing Twilight now has to figure out. Technology!
How do I make the words on the TV go? Which is funny. It was just a funny scene. Yeah.
How do I get this food out of that machine?
They could have had a lot of internet jokes, that. I'm just surprised they used YouTube and stuck with it, but whatever.
But yeah, I mean, Shimmer's been in this world for
God knows how long.
She's probably been there for like at least 2.5 years. Let's assume that the last time the portal was open.
You see, there are like pictures on the wall of her from 3 years of this pageant.
Well, that makes sense. She probably found. I can't remember what exactly Celestia says, but she either found the mirror or she made it.
I'm pretty sure she found the mirror.
Okay, cool. Which is really weird. Doesn't make any. That doesn't. The mirror's never really explained, except for like in passing, as it kind of goes.
Yeah, it's a really convenient magical portal that Celestia just happens to have in the palace.
Hey, it's just magic. It's
magic. You don't have to explain it.
You don't have to explain it.
We should also mention there's a time crunch, because, this wouldn't be a movie without a time crunch.
On the 3rd day. And it's always the 3rd day.
Well, not so much the 3rd day. Like, the whole way the portal works is that it depends on the moon. Like, it only opens, up every 30 moons, which, assuming that they mean months, that's, 2.5 years.
Oh, jeez.
And it's only open for, I think, as long as, the moon isn't covering, this portion of the sky.
More or less. Oh, no, it's gotta be between these stars. Or something
right, between these two stars.
2 stars.
So, yeah, essentially, Twilight has 3 days to accomplish her goal, otherwise she gets stuck there.
Like I said, it's always 3 days.
Unless it's 7.
Unless it's 7 days. Oh, 7 days!
Snap, I was right.
Anyway, so, like I said, we established that, she learns to walk, she learns to talk, she meets up with Fluttershy, and then we discover that she flies off to work. Oh, yeah, right. Shimmer is confronting Fluttershy because apparently Shimmer has lost the crown. And who has the crown, essentially, is that Fluttershy gives it to the principal, who is, of course, the Princess Celestia in human form.
Principal Celestia.
And they look awful! They look terrible! Good lord! Oh, one thing I'm going to gripe about is, personally, I just did not like the character design.
No.
First of all, every female in this world, no matter what, except for when they're showing something off, which is quickly reversed, is showing off some leg. And it doesn't work with some characters. It wouldn't work with Rarity because she would like free-flowing. She's like free-flowing and something that's elegant and glamorous. Fluttershy wouldn't like to show off her legs because that means she's not as self-conscious as she's supposed to be. But everyone's wearing skirts, and it's always knee-high or just above the knee. And it's I don't know, I just thought it did not work.
You know what I thought
Personally.
was weird?
Yeah.
Is that Celestia and Luna actually had normal skin tone.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Like every other character is actually colored to how their otherworld pony
It's
is.
like a tint off.
For
It's like a tint
Celestia
off.
and Luna. Celestia is white, Luna is blue, but they both have like flesh-colored skin, and that was like the thing that threw me off most. Like, wait, what? So there are normal-looking humans in this world? They
probably high-five each other through the mirror all the time.
Is this like Mutant High or something?
Yeah,
Do they send all like the weirdly colored kids here?
Well, I mean, it makes it cool because obviously this world is a human world, but it's not the human world. It's not like the real world, which makes a little bit more sense. Because a lot of movies would do that, but apparently it's still a cartoon.
They're in the
universe.
Digi world.
Yeah, they're in some kind of Digi world. It's also multiverse garbage. I don't even know anymore. Anyway, so what ends up happening is Celestia gets that crown, and Twilight Sparkle confronts her with it. And then it's revealed that they're going to use the crown, because this is what Shimmer swiped it from, for this upcoming dance. Now, rather than having to explain that she needed the crown would mean explaining Equestria, and Twilight Sparkle, despite being naive about this world, still knows that sounds really, really, really crazy. Okay, so basically what ends up happening is now I'm gonna have to win the crown. That's the whole point. It's very high school-esque kind of plot, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I am kind of glad that she didn't, go with the crazy explanation. Like, they avoided that whole predictable route.
Well, that would have been convenient.
Because I kept expecting, like, this really, like, awkward scenes, like, oh, God, she's going to explain about how ponies and da-da-da, and the teacher's going to look at her weird, and it's like, But thankfully they avoided
Do you need to go to the nurse? Nurse Redheart? That's okay. Anyway, okay.
Now, the problem is that she has to go up against Shimmer, and Shimmer always wins. It always uses some, like, trickery in order to win, and a lot of the students are too afraid to actually oppose her.
And as you would expect, someone that can cross dimensions and steal stuff is obviously some kind of bully, for lack of a gender-neutral term. So yeah, so essentially she is the feared one. She's the one that controls the school through intimidation and strife.
She's the mean girl.
And she even has minions.
Yeah, Snips and Snails are actually her minions in this movie, and I thought that was kind of weird.
Well, usually they follow in the show. They usually follow Trixie around, and like they're essentially like groupies. They'll go with whoever's like the strongest or like famous at the time.
They're not really mean.
They're not
just
mean. They're just dumb.
Influenceable. Yeah, easily influenced.
They're pretty stupid.
Yeah, they're pretty stupid. Whereas in this, they're stupid, but they're also jerks.
They're stupid. They're jerks, and they're effective. Damn.
That's a strange thing.
Yeah, like they did a pretty good job when it was in their court.
Like, I agree, they were actually effective minions, but on the one hand, that's not who they are. Their otherworldly counterparts are dumb and bumbling.
Like they're 12-year-old kids that would be like, oh, I'm gonna be a Power Ranger when I grow up, or something like that.
It's also kind of weird because I was under the impression that they were the same age as the Cutie Mark
Crusaders,
but they look older. So
yeah, it's like, now are they supposed to be like freshmen, or are they supposed to be?
They could probably be the younger end spectrum. You actually see the human versions of the Cutie Mark Crusaders, which they are in elementary school back in the pony world, and this is supposed to be high school. So that means there's kind of like an age gap. But it wouldn't make sense if they're freshmen and everyone else was junior or senior. So.
Yeah.
I was kind of assuming that it was one of those high schools where they combine the middle school and the high school.
Like what I went to. There was an 8th grade in my school. All right.
That's what I was figuring. It's just, I don't know.
They were the only kids though. You saw. It's weird.
I just thought that was a bit off. That they made Snips and Snails like so evil. Like they were just so happy to go along with their plot. There was like at no point did they ever voice like any objection or be like, maybe this is too mean, or maybe you're getting a little bit too evil.
Oh heck yeah! I'll stalk somebody.
By the way, is Kira Lee in this? Is she supposed to be a teacher or a librarian?
She's probably does multiple jobs for multiple paychecks. Gotta feed the not kids. Alright, so moving on. So essentially what ends up happening is Twilight Sparkle realizes her predicament. So she goes to the party management team leader, and of course, who else could it be but Pinkie Pie? And so they get a cool little introduction of her zaniness, and she's easily probably one of the most favorite characters on the show, just because they can do anything with her because she's insane. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and there's a whole lot of fourth wall breaking jokes and all that other good stuff.
And then by way of her, we were also introduced to Human Applejack, and that's where we discover that the friends don't actually get along.
There's a lot of miscommunications in the past that led to one feeling betrayed by another. So it was that kind of stuff. So of course
they also reveal that everyone is divided into cliques. So everyone who has the same interests, you have the sports fanatics, you have the drama students, you have the nerds. They're all grouped together in their
kids.
own.
But it's not because everyone is actually really pretty.
No.
There is not an unattractive person in that entire school, and no matter what they do. And even then, the themes of cliques does not really play that much importance in
not
this.
Really.
Like,
it's more like said but not seen.
Like
weird.
The good thing is that they don't show any of them actually like flouting their superiority over one another. Like the only one who really does that is Shimmer. Yeah. Like it seems like more like they just divide into their own groups just because you go with what you know. And when you're trying it's probably been established that Shimmer just like has been purposely doing this because the old divide and conquer type deal. So chances are like she's the reason why they all decide to split into their own special groups because keep those that you can trust close.
Yeah. Although I do have to ask, seeing as she probably does not know that Twilight or any of them would be in any way related to her, it just sort of pops up. What does she really stand to gain until this moment by splitting everybody up?
She probably found the mirror, got trapped there, sulked about for a few months, and then figured like, alright, you know what, if I can get back into Equestria, let me do something awesome. And she must have knew about Twilight Sparkle because Twilight Sparkle's been around for about a few years now.
I mean, I could see maybe if she was eliminating friendship, but to me, she seems more like, and I'm going back to Much Ado About Nothing for this, she seems like a Don John character up until this point.
Being a dick for the sake of being a dick.
Exactly.
Well, more or less. I didn't learn essentially the whole story is that she was a student for Princess Celestia, and Princess Celestia is the ruler and also apparently the most powerful pony. I mean, so she knows a lot of. So she knows a lot of spells, and she was essentially Shimmer was her student before Twilight became her student, and she had the whole like Mr. Miyagi thing or something like that, where like she was getting trained, but it wasn't fast enough, so she decided to delve into darker arts to do it.
But like
and probably got like kicked to the curb for doing so.
Aside from her like gaining the power to be voted queen of whatever that pageant thing or the dance was, what does she stand to gain?
No, the thing is though is that she wanted just the crown, and she would have taken that point to just like, oh, I have the crown, now I can be. I will say it for later. And I have the crown, now I have what the crown entails. But the thing is though is because Fluttershy, when it went through first, Fluttershy got it and gave it to the principal. So now she can't get it. She can't get it easily. But the fact of the matter is that she's always crowned queen. She figured like, oh, I just gotta wait 2 or 3 days. No big deal. I'm gonna get voted queen. I'll get my crown back, and then mum's the word, And when she discovered that Twilight was there, because of course they run into each other, and of course there's a similarity to go with it. She basically tells Twilight that like, yeah, you're not gonna win because you have no idea how to become popular. You don't even know how the world works. And this is very true. I mean, she barely even stood up like an hour and a half ago.
And she even exploits this fact by having Snips and Snails follow her around and showed us how badly she is at just using modern technologies and heck even just picking stuff up.
Acting like a human being.
Yeah, ponies pick up things with their mouths if they don't have magic, or that conveniently sometimes they can do things with their hooves sometimes. All right.
Yeah. So and she, like I said, because she knows that she has to go up against Twilight, the best way to defeat her is by slandering her. So.
And of course, they always freeze that video on like her making the weirdest faces.
Yeah, they made a YouTube video, but it was like a slander campaign. You would see like for like mayor things, where just like he stole taxpayer money for something, and it was just like black and white and like super.
It's like out of It's like out of E! True Hollywood Story.
Yeah.
It's like they were an actor on top of their game, but not all was as it seemed.
And then everything changed with the fire nation. I had to do it. I'm sorry. What was it? Okay. So yeah, she used technology against Twilight, which of course she wouldn't know anything about, except for like lights.
Yeah,
until Rarity decides to intervene.
Yeah. The whole school watches the video, so essentially she's getting snickered behind Hef's back when she finally figures out that all she has to do to become popular is talk to people. And she has a list and she has the guidelines. No problem. But
everybody's seen the video and she doesn't realize it.
Reputation screwed.
Yeah. So like Rarity steps in and tries to help her, and then the other the other elements, I'm gonna call them.
Yeah.
They step in except for Rainbow Dash, but they start to explain, why they're not friends, and I got a text from her that she said she hated me. Oh, she was supposed
to. You sent me an email saying that I shouldn't. It's like if you said something.
Oh, you said you were gonna do this, but then you never owned up on it.
You unfriended me on Facebook.
Like, but then now they're all together, and they're like, "Wait, I never sent that." It's like.
And it's basically been implied that Shimmer's the one who's been causing this.
Sometimes.
Which leads me to wonder, like, has she been going around stealing everyone's phone?
Yeah,
well, that's what I was. She was around long enough to probably get everyone's phone number, and then she just waited for opportune moments for her to screw each other because she probably recognized them as the Elements.
Yeah, but
they had the exact same name.
But they believe the texts were from each other, meaning that it was their phone number that called them. If he couldn't have called her on her own phone.
If she was willing to steal a magical crown, she's willing to steal someone's cell phone for a little bit.
I guess Snips and Snails hacked the cell phone or stole them. Yeah.
Apparently, they know how to use Photoshop.
Yeah.
So they did a pretty good job with that.
It was a cutout. They cut it out. Yeah.
But
they made it seem like it was supposed to be Photoshop.
Damn good cutout.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, moving on. Alright, so basically how Twilight, in true fashion, whenever her friends are fighting, Twilight does what she does best. She lectures them. And she actually found a yearbook that had the picture of everyone being all besties, BFFs and stuff like that. And I just remembered, like, I remember that time, I'm sorry, guys. And of course that fixes everything. Then they finally meet
Rainbow Dash.
There you go.
And she's like, okay, I'll help you out. And, they reconcile with her as well and have a big hug.
I'm happy she was wearing sports spandex. I didn't see that in the last thing, and thank God she did, because if she had just a skirt on, I would have lost it.
But yeah, I mean, like,
she's the sport. For you who don't know, Rainbow Dash is like a sports nut. She's the tomboy. She's the one that's gonna get in your face and kick you.
Yeah. So Rainbow offers to help Twilight in her campaign if she can score like 5 soccer goals against her.
I forfeit.
And of course, it even seems like that underdog sports movie at one point. Like,
yeah, she gets pretty close,
and then it's like,
nope.
She goes for a big kick, and it's pathetic.
No, she misses the ball. She doesn't Charlie Brown. She doesn't. Because Twilight Sparkle's a bookworm. She's the smart one. She's not sports inclined, so that makes sense. She messes up.
Rainbow's like, yeah, I'll help you.
You got guts. Yeah. You got guts, kid. You got moxie.
You're not like that person, so I'll help you.
All right.
Yeah, so
you actually try.
Let her explain the nice part.
So pretty much like kids getting trophies for doing nothing.
No, you can appreciate someone for their values. I could have appreciated that scene. It worked.
It's like, hey, you were sitting on the bench. Here's a trophy.
No, nah. You're allowed to do that. If you want to be friends with somebody, you don't do that. It's fine.
Yeah, so now Twilight.
You mess with them. Sorry.
Now Twilight has the 5 on her side now, so now she has to get the rest of the school on her side, which is hard considering, what the video has done. But, so they brainstorm and they decide that they need to, find something that everyone liked at one time.
Some way to unite everybody. Mm-hmm. And so they all put on like these Wonderbolt or Wonder Colt outfits and do like a cheerleading thing.
And I gotta say, when I was watching that scene, because like all of a sudden they all like jump up and start doing this musical number in the middle of the cafeteria, I'm like, oh shit, this is High School Musical all over again.
Hey, you remember when you went School Spirit? I don't.
School Spirit for chumps.
But that's what they did. Essentially, everyone busted out. For some reason, the entire scene. For some reason, the entire scene, I was wondering if Fluttershy would actually do this, because this is more like a cheerleader thing. Yeah. This is more like it out in the open. It was a musical number. It was a montage musical number.
I guess her other really character's a bit more brave.
She's wearing a skirt. Showing some leg. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, they managed to get a lot of the So they managed to get the students on their side. And Shimmer realizes this and knows that she has to resort to sabotage now in order to like get Twilight out of the competition.
Guys, if I can just go off topic just for a quick second, what did you think about the songs of this week?
I thought they were terrible. Catchy but terrible.
Like they were done well enough, but they were a bit too poppy for my liking. It's not like in the show where the songs were at least catchy and you can sing to them.
And you'd want to sing them again.
Yeah.
This is like something you'd see out of a fashion show for like a Barbie like display.
It's like, okay, the music's lively, but I don't want to hear this again.
The second one was an earworm, though. The problem is all the songs had the same common theme.
Pretty much.
You can only hear singing about friendship for so long. And like until
okay,
at some point
get it.
Until at some point you'll lose shit. You did not. Oh god. Alright, the thing is you can only hear about that for so long before it really starts getting like, okay, we can move on. We know what the theme is. You know what, that's another thing. The last episode that they showed for the Hasbro on the My Little Pony actual show was essentially just this huge, like, we have a budget, let's just throw music. More music. Okay, stop music. Anyway.
But it's only like a half-hour episode.
It's a half-hour episode of just like a true friend likes a friend indeed. Well, imagine going for that for 12 minutes.
One thing, though, that I want to go back to this into the songs. Yeah. And this kind of goes with why the score, the songs for this didn't work as well. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of the time you will find that in the series prior, in the Friendship is Magic series, that they will do sort of like a parody or style reminiscent of like Broadway musicals and stuff. Like songs that you know, but they're not actually those songs. You might find yourself like thinking, "Oh, this sounds like this. Oh, this sounds like this. It's really clever."
That's a very good point.
Yeah. Whereas this is just like teen pop.
The series has known to basically use tropes on YouTube as well as expand when it comes to music. There's one song that is essentially gospel. There's one song that is essentially Disney. There's one song that's essentially hoedown. In fact, they've done every genre except for rap or hip-hop. It's the only thing they really haven't done. And which is... It could be done, but at the same time, whenever you do that, it becomes a joke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like I said,
they might have realized that you can't do it right.
When it came to this... When it came to Equestria Girls, all the music was like... teen pop... Yeah,
teeny boppers.
Teenage bubblegum pop.
Yeah.
And it just didn't really have that staying power that most of the songs from, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic have had. Mm-hmm. Where, you don't... Like I said, I heard it, it's catchy, move along. I don't want to hear it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was disappointing. I was hoping for at least one good number, but... Oh well.
Come on, another winter wrap-up, guys.
Yeah, I was thinking when they're doing like the cleaning. Well, we're gonna get to that, but like they're cleaning up and they do a cleaning montage, and it's almost reminiscent of winter wrap-up. I'm almost like part in my head. I'm starting to hear the lyrics to winter wrap-up.
That would be great. That's exactly what winter wrap-up was. It was a cleaning montage.
How do I fit in without magic? Help the earth pony anyway.
I gotta find my place so someday I can stay. And then you earworm and then everything else like that. Oh god. Okay, moving on. I'm sorry,
right.
But yeah, I mean, it was kind of important to discuss.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And so yeah, as I mentioned, like Shimmer realizes that she now has to like move to more drastic measures, and the first thing they try to do is she had Snip and Snails take pictures of Twilight while she was in the library trying to do research,
or the field.
Oh yeah, and of course when she was like trying to play soccer against Rainbow Dash, and what they ended up doing was Snip and Snails, like, ended up cutting out like a perfect like outline of Twilight and superimposed it onto pictures of the dance room,
the debris.
Right, of the, I guess, gymnasium?
Yeah, the gymnasium wreckage.
Because that's where the party's taking place, but Snip and Snails went in and basically wrecked the place.
Yeah,
Took a bunch of pictures and then superimposed Twilight's picture on there.
A picture of Twilight kicking, and they put it right where the disco ball is on the floor.
It would have been really cool if that was actually just Photoshop and stuff like that. It just found like the phone.
I would buy that, too.
That's the world there.
Yeah, that's what we immediately thought of until we found the things of the clip outs.
And that kind of baffled me because Twilight ends up being sent to Vice Principal Luna, convinced that they're real, but then we see later that, they're just clip-outs.
And that was resolved incredibly quickly.
I'm thinking, wait, she can't tell when a picture has been glued on top of another picture?
Yeah, usually that crap kind of stands out, so...
Yeah, because this is the modern world. We've established that with the technology. They could have easily photoshopped that. But I'm guessing they're going with them being too dumb.
Photoshop is
with them being
harder
a generation
to do.
Behind or so.
Photoshop is harder to do if you do it right, though. But you definitely notice like a picture being glued on top of another picture.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of weird.
It makes it heavy. It stands out. It's just awful. And they had to do a perfect job too. So
yeah, the truth comes to light though immediately by the love interest of the story.
So yeah, I mean that whole thing is quick, but the point of it was not necessarily, even if Twilight's incriminated, it's mainly to throw, a delay into the party.
What was his name, by the way?
What is it? Flash
something
Century?
Comet? No, Flash Century. Which sounds like an 80s movie. It's like
that is so Flash Century.
Oh Jesus Christ! No, dude,
that is so 2008.
It's like Flash Johnson, which is like this road warrior from the 1970s movies. That's what it reminds me of. But I don't know. This guy had absolutely nothing. He was nothing there except a pretty face.
Yeah.
He was more or less completely pointless.
Except to show up.
Except because love interest. You have to have one.
But yeah, and like he asks her to the dance, and she's like, no.
Because here's what happened. Even though the thing was resolved quickly, something happened.
Yeah, because the gym was so badly damaged, they need a day to clean it up and fix everything. And given that we're on a time crunch here, the moon is supposed to align that night. So waiting till the next day, Twilight will be trapped. So now the situation is dire. And
no, I think she just said no because she's a woman. Women and your confusing.
So Flash Century obviously has a thing for Twilight. She obviously has a thing for him. More or less, it's just them bumping into each other and her blushing. Though unfortunately, it wasn't really too much more than that, which is good because it didn't really have a payoff.
No,
which is good. There's no stupid dumb kiss at the end because that would have been completely unnatural. So I appreciate that they didn't go. They had it. I don't appreciate that they had it. I appreciate that they didn't go into it as much. So it wasn't like a huge thing.
Agreed.
But he does ask her to the dance, in which case she says no, which should have caused a problem, but apparently didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's like, I only needed to hear no once.
Which I thought was a funny joke. I'm not gonna lie.
So now the big issue is Twilight has to get the gym in proper order by that night. Otherwise, she can't get the crown and she can't go home. And the only way she can do that is if she asks help from her new friends, but she kind of has to explain the situation a bit because it's like, hey, why don't we just wait a day? They'll have it in order. So she and Spike kind of deliberate on whether she should or shouldn't tell them, and she makes a decision to tell them.
But Pinkie Pie already knows.
Yes, Pinkie Pie apparently becomes super psychic in this world.
Oh yeah, there's a whole joke with her thinking that Twilight is psychic because she knows everybody's name.
I guess we'll chalk it up to her Pinkie sense.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
out Pinkie. You already know how she
figures out the entire reason why Twilight is there.
Down to minute details as part of a long monologue.
Yeah, and the others at first are disbelieving, but then when Twilight says, yeah, it actually is true.
And
Spike talks.
Spike is essentially Twilight's assistant, who in the Pony universe is a dragon, but in this universe he is a talking dog.
A purple and green talking dog.
Which even makes it like funnier when he reveals that he's a dragon. He's like, "You're a talking dog." Oh, but I'm also a dragon. You're a talking dog.
But like I said, it was good that he was around though, because it all of a sudden made his story a lot more believable. It's like, all right, here's some evidence, something from another world.
It was funny, like Twilight has to like hide Spike because there's no pets allowed in school and stuff. Yet he's always sticking out in the open.
Yeah, that's true.
And in fact, he was actually in the open when she goes to Luna's office, I believe.
Well, she's already in trouble.
Whoops!
Right. Actually, by that logic, I gotta wonder why no one has asked her why she hasn't gone to class. Because she does not go to a single class the entire time she is in that school. And in fact, she even manages to hide out in the library and sleep there without anybody noticing.
Stop tearing up in the holes, Catherine. Stop it.
I'm just saying, shouldn't teachers notice this sort of thing?
Oh,
or is there only like 3 teachers in the entire school?
There's just one. You just saw Cheryl Lee, and that was it. And she was in the library half the time. Oh man.
I guess it's a very lax school.
Yeah, it's probably a lax school. They have a lax dress code. People had cowboy hats and bandanas everywhere. It was great. And mohawks.
Wish I had that high school.
You would have been involved in the cliques that don't actually bully each other.
That would work.
Right.
So yeah, everyone's on board now with trying to get the dance underway. So they all pitch in and start and clean up the
montage.
Have a cleaning montage.
Have a cleaning montage. A montage.
Yeah, and people keep walking by. They see everybody helping out, and they keep coming in, and they more and more people keep coming in,
which was really good. I'm just like, imagine if they clean the thing though, but the order has already been put out that the thing was tomorrow night. I'm just like, how you gotta cover your bases, guys.
But it does lead to some funny jokes,
yeah,
with the 2 jocks trying to help Twilight.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that beforehand. It's like, all right, yeah, you can clean it, but you still gotta reschedule. It's the teacher's thing, but then everyone was there. So
well, the thing is, the Celestia shows up, and she's like, well, yeah, you did a good enough job. Okay, it's still on for tonight.
It was just a thought.
Yeah.
All right.
And so the girls get all gussied up, in their nice little dresses and stuff.
And nice little skirts.
To the gala.
I'm kind of surprised.
The skirts.
I almost expected. I always expected them to have outfits that were similar to the ones they wore at the gala.
That would have been epic.
I think only Pinkie Pie has one that's somewhat similar.
Nah, there was no blue to it.
Yes, there was. There was blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, they all get dressed up, they go to the dance, and Twilight wins the crown by a landslide. Because, she basically united the entire school and all the cliques together, so...
They even said, as they're leaving the gym, hey, you got my vote.
And they did that whole thing where just you got my vote, me too, me too, me too. I didn't hear a me 3 or a me 4. I'm just like, oh wow, you guys...
He said, you know what, I'm still not voting for you.
You guys are original. You guys got to... Ooh,
I'm undecided. Yeah.
I'm bipartisan.
I'm not voting.
I'm
staying home tonight.
So
Twilight...
Problem solved.
Yeah, Twilight wins the crown, but Shimmer then resorts to dirty measures and kidnaps Spike.
With Snips and Snails. Oh, they're devilish, aren't they?
Yeah,
Shut up, I didn't mean it like that. Go on.
So, they lead them outside the school to the statue, which is where the portal is, and she says, hand over the crown, or I'm taking the sledgehammer, and I'm breaking the portal, and then you are stuck here.
And keep in mind, it's not a mirror, it's a statue. Statue made of marble.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. I guess it turns...
Right in the middle of the school.
I guess it turns into glass while the portal's open.
Maybe the reflective surface on the marble, maybe. It's kind of unclear.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah. But anyway, Twilight refuses, saying that, hey, I don't care like, I will protect this world as much as I would the other world. Because at least in the other world, there's Celestia, there's my 5 friends, there's everyone there to protect them.
They'll be fine.
They'll
figure it out. It's okay.
Yeah, in this world, there's nobody, and I will protect everyone no matter what.
Yeah, because we still don't know why she needs the crown, but dang, does she want it. She wants that crown for something.
Yeah, and then Shimmer, like, it turns out she was actually bluffing. She really had no intention to smash the portal whatsoever, but she does take an opportunity to attack Twilight and go for the crown, and it's all being tossed around between everyone, you know, like, keep away and all that. But Shimmer ends up getting it, and this was referenced in an earlier scene where she's like, so tell me, what happens when you use the element of harmony in another world?
Yeah.
To which Twilight doesn't know, and Celestia conveniently didn't tell her about.
Because she never. Twilight's got to figure everything out on her own.
I know she knew.
I'm gonna say, I'm still, no matter, you can give me an explanation and I still wouldn't believe it. And I'm gonna rant when you say it.
She uses the crown, and this causes a dark energy to shoot out, and it turns her into this evil demon creature.
Why? Why? How does that work?
Yeah.
The elements of harmony are essentially designed with positive energy in manifested in physical form, meant to protect people. Why? I don't know if it has something to do with the realm, never explained, but it turns her into a demon! Into a demon! With magical powers! Now this doesn't make any sense in the beginning because it's confirmed that you cannot use the elements of harmony unless they're attuned to you specifically. That should just be a crummy crown to anyone else besides Twilight Sparkle. Why it works for her, and why it works in this particular way, which is completely against what it's designed for, and what it was made for, and what it was supposed to do, makes me want to go, what the? You know what it is? It's a Deus Ex Machina. It'll do exactly what you need to do, and which is awful. Which is an awful plot device.
It's become My Little Pony GT.
Yeah, like. It's weird. Her look is terrifying, but it's just so weird. Like, she reminds me of a cross between Flame Princess from Adventure Time and a succubus. That's what she looks like.
Flame Princess of Marceline.
And she transforms Snips and Snails
into demons!
Yeah, they're transformed too. And she's able to mind control all the students into zombies. It is so weird, it doesn't make sense.
Her whole plan was to take and I quote, the teenage army to take over Equestria.
Yes.
That was her plan, and she used the word teenage.
And then, once again, I make the comparison to Digimon, because apparently the power of the elements was not confined to the crowns or the tiaras, but to the source of the magic itself.
Here's how they resolve this, guys. Go on.
Yeah, she attacks Twilight with her new demon powers. And the girls all huddle in to protect her, and somehow that activates their own power of friendship. Like, apparently, like, they don't even need their own elements of harmony. They themselves are the elements, and they all create this protective barrier around her. And suddenly, the magic makes them transform a little bit. Like, they are still human, but they suddenly grow ears,
ponytails.
Some of them get wings, and suddenly it becomes an episode of Sailor Moon, where they combine their powers to defeat the bad guy.
In the name of the moon, we shall punish. They get the wings and their hair grows longer into tails.
I said it's also like Digimon.
And they don't actually do anything.
They didn't need the physical manifestations of whatever the power was. It's in them all along.
They stand there and glow and the magical rainbow power shoots out of them. In retrospect, it's really stupid.
So yeah, that makes the elements of harmony as tiaras
completely pointless.
Completely pointless. You don't even need the elements. You can just do it. You can do it across dimensions.
Yeah. So that all that happened, but of course, in keeping with tradition of My Little Pony, they don't actually kill the bad guy, but
they redeem them.
Yeah, it sounds like sort of like what happened with Luna.
It almost feels exactly like what happened with Luna. In fact, it almost feels like the same dialogue too.
Added a giant crater.
Chase the rainbow!
She's at the bottom of a hole! It's great.
Like, I wanted to yell out.
I'm totally fucked up, too. I'm so sorry.
Like, I wanted to yell out a Sailor Moon attack when I realized she was still alive and suddenly she was regretful and like, oh, wait, this is her healing spell. Moon healing activation!
Yeah, all of a sudden shivering. It's just literally she's on her hands and knees crying about how friendship is. It's really out of nowhere.
Yeah, so... and the spell is broken and everything is back to normal except there's a fucking giant chunk of the school missing.
Yeah, they go back to the dance. Forget it. We'll take care of it tomorrow.
And then we got our Seinfeld reference. Well, actually it's from an earlier episode of My Little Pony in which they have Twilight's birthday party and they do the Seinfeld reference with Elaine's little kick stance. It's like,
oh, right, yeah, they did, yeah.
And then she, like, gets down on all fours, and, well, even her boyfriend, or her date, I guess, is like, hey, I'm gonna do that too!
Hey, don't make her feel, that was a nice gesture, don't make her feel stupid. And the whole thing is that Twilight Sparkle does not know how to dance, she just kind of flails about, which is really funny. Alright.
Yeah, so she says goodbye to everyone, you know, saying that, you know, despite the fact they're from different worlds, like, they will still always remain the best of friends.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and it's not...
they already know each other.
Right, because they technically already know each other and tell them that, you know, they'll look after Shimmer and try to make her a better person.
Mm-hmm.
And so... And that's a weird thing. They never have a goodbye scene with a love interest.
They don't, which is good. I like it. Mm-hmm. I like it.
And yet...
Wait, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, so Twilight gets back to the Pony World where everyone is waiting. Apparently for the last 3 days they've been waiting.
Oh yeah, dude, they've been pacing in front of a mirror for 3 days. It's great. Way to go, guys.
Yeah, it reveals that she's been successful and everything. And
they ask about the human world.
Yeah, they ask about the human world, what's going on, and
She's too tired.
Pinkie Pie calls it. Oh, she's too tired. She can't explain. But Pinkie Pie calls it.
Yeah. And then she runs into one of the guards.
The new guard.
Flash Sentry.
Oh, snap.
The same exact person she met.
And
except in this version, he's a guard.
With yellow skin and the exact same hair as his brother.
Into you like
this. Man. Oh, God. It's not going to be a can of worms, I can tell you that. Alright, the thing is, though, exactly the same way they run into each other. He says one line, she looks away and blushes. Apparently that's their relationship, it's initial attraction. Apparently.
Yep.
I feel like
and
so that was the movie.
That was the movie, and that was it. Except for that ending part, it was okay. It was good. It served its purpose for what it was, and I enjoyed it. And there was a lot of if you're a fan of the show, there's enough little cameo bits and little inside jokes that make it enjoyable because particularly they're focusing it on you. However, if you don't know what those are, does it really take away from the experience? I'm not really too sure.
That's so much.
That I don't know. You can still enjoy it for what it is, though, but unfortunately what it is a teen movie. It's a teen, I'm gonna be the queen of the prom movie. That's exactly what it was.
True, but I will say, though, if you're not a fan of My Little Pony or haven't watched the show, you're not gonna like this movie. I'm just putting it out there right now, because you will need a lot of, first of all,
there's
if you
already
haven't watched it, you're
continuity.
going to need that knowledge to know
the
what
introduction
is up to it.
of the characters.
I mean, we already begin with, you know, Twilight after the events of the season 3 finale, and she's like upset about her wings now that, you know.
Well, she's upset with the thing, like the whole change of becoming all of a sudden now you have wings and all of a sudden you're a princess.
Yeah.
I can imagine
So
an intelligent person would be like,
granted,
oh crap,
it's like,
I have responsibility and apparently I can fly, but I don't know how to fly.
yeah,
It's
granted
fine.
that like sort of pays off in the end when she's like, hey, I just had hands, I think I can handle wings after this.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like, yeah, it's like, blah.
Well, it's like I said, there's like a sort of a not really slight like path the journey and path kind of thing.
The whole thing with this, I remember, was that this was not really supposed to be canon with the series.
No, it isn't.
So it kind of makes me wonder why they bothered to add in any bits of continuity whatsoever. Especially if, you know, you're gonna. They're going to have some references that people aren't going to get at all.
They could have just made an OVA. They could have just made an OVA where it was just like a little side project that Twilight had to go on. Twilight had to go on as part of like Celestia.
Well, I mean, even in like the human world, there are numerous references.
Do you know what I would have believed? They stole Celestia's crown, and Twilight Sparkle was the only one she could trust with that knowledge that she lost her crown, and she had to go in there and find it. I would have been all for that.
But where's the threat, though?
The threat would be the person that stole the crown. Like, so Celestia's crown would give demon powers. She's a troll. She's a troll.
But when has her crown ever been known to like be powerful? Isn't it?
I don't know. It could have been. You could have just made it as easily. Like I said, with the Alicorn amulet, made people jerks and super powerful. Like it would have been. It would not have been outside the realms of possibility that Celestia's crown could have done the same thing. I'm just saying it would have been a little bit more believable in the Elements of Harmony. That's all I'm saying.
Either way, it's a fun watch, and especially if you're a fan and you know you look for all those tidbits. Especially if you're with other bronies like we were, like it is especially entertaining.
You gotta look out for the people in the background, though. I feel like they could have done a lot more. There was a lot of ponies they missed, though, but they had the important ones. Well, not they still missed Octavia for some reason. I don't know why she wasn't there.
It really, I mean, in the long run, it doesn't matter about the cameo. I mean, they're there to be recognized.
They're there to be like, oh, it's her!
But they're always supposed to be in the background, so...
They threw in Derpy at the end, that's all that counts.
They threw in Derpy in the middle, apparently, one of the songs. And they threw Derpy at the end. And this is the first time and I was pissed. And then I saw her at the end. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So yeah, if you like it, you will enjoy this. But prepare to have, like, a kind of a big suspension of disbelief, especially in the second half.
And the music is nothing special, as we discussed.
Take it with a grain. Take it tongue to cheek. Take it with a grain of salt. Essentially, they only have an hour and 20 minutes to make it. It's really not that. Oh yeah, it's not that long. Yeah. It is not long, the movie at all.
And I gotta say, like the designs, like the human versions, are kind of weird to look at first, but you do get used to them.
All right. The thing there's a few things, except for the very end when they actually had the demon scene. There is really no change when it comes to animation style. It still goes to the same frame, which is weird. You'd expect a higher frame rate with these kinds of movies because they have more of a budget value. The frame rate is still the same. Doesn't make it bad. It's still good. Did not like the character design, but only because of the clothing choice. Other than that, the clothing and how they humanize the people, except for Celestia and Luna, and by a lesser extent, Cake and the Cakes when you saw them, looked really good. The clothing design I probably would have changed up a little bit.
The Cakes kind of the Cakes make me think that I'm watching Powerpuff Girls because
they were a little puffy. When they had the little cameos and bits, they weren't overpowering, but they were at least entertaining. Even Trixie had one, and she was a famous anti-villain in the series.
I think they showed Granny Smith as a fat old lunch lady.
Yeah, they did show Granny Smith as a fat old lunch lady. They showed the Cutie Mark Crusaders with their dumb song,
and Big Mac has like
one line and one cameo, and he looks pretty good.
Two lines.
Yep.
Nope.
The little things, particularly what they have with Rarity and they have with Pinkie Pie, they're fun. Like a lot of the things they do with them, particularly during the songs, is a lot of fun. Even that one song we said the music was bad, but the video was good. The video was pretty good. It was like a very cheerleader kind of thing.
And they do actually incorporate scenery from the pony world into the human world. Like you have the library that Twilight lives in. You have the Sugar Cube Corner.
You have Rarity's Boutique.
So
that was like a hangout spot, really. It goes weird.
Yeah, so they actually like managed to do a good job with humanizing those places without changing drastically what they look like.
I felt it was kind of weird having the place set as Canterlot High, because it kind of...
Well, after that point is when I realized, like, okay, cool. So apparently there's still a huge horse motif that comes with this. So, yeah.
But so
they make it as identifiable as possible.
Yeah, I felt like at times, it's like if they had said Ponyville, would anybody have like batted an eye?
I understand the reason why they turned the Wonder Bolts, who were like the Blue Angels of the Pony world, into Wonder Colts, because then the ears and the tails wouldn't make any sense.
Alright.
So, I can see why they did that.
For that matter, why couldn't they have had like the Wonder Bolts be,
Wonder Bolts would have been a good team name.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They could have been like the sports team.
They would have been cool if, like in the opening scene, like Twilight's surprised when she sees an actual horse and it's like the mascot. Would have been really great. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
You see like a statue of a horse.
You see a lot of statues of horses. Yeah, which works out pretty good.
Wouldn't it be funny if they live in a town called Humanville?
Yeah.
That would have been great.
It would have just been a town called Jeff.
It would have been called Townsville.
The city of Townsville. Town of Citiesville.
Reference. Oh yeah, do you remember they made the freaking Transformer sound when freaking Mickey Mouse and stuff?
That's an argument for a different time.
It's great. I like those. I like those little. I like the little things they throw in. It really makes it fun. Anyway, like I said, I would check out this if you're really interested. If you're watching this and you're really interested, try to see if you'll like the series. Don't watch one episode. Watch two. Watch 2 episodes. If you don't like it, understandable. You tried.
There's
if you do like it, then keep going with it.
There's continuity, so you at least have to watch certain episodes in order.
And I gotta say right now, if you do plan to see the movie, do it as soon as possible.
It's not going to be in theaters very long.
This is one of those special viewings where it's only in select theaters, and it's only like I think 2 days out of the week, like for only 4 weeks.
So to be fair, it essentially plays like a made-for-TV movie. In fact, there's even a moment where everybody's like, commercial!
Hey, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if you don't check it out, there's even spots where it's fades to black that you know there's going to be commercials, so it's probably going to be on TV at some point.
In fact, going to
be on TV at some point.
Come to think of it, I think we were watching a Blu-ray. Because I recall, like, when we first entered the theater, they had, like, the Netflix, all the play.
Oh my god, you're right!
Yeah.
Remember the production values of the credits at the end? They were awful! They were exactly like a TV, like straight to TV video. Oh my god, you even saw, like, the glow on the sides! It was so bad! Like, it wasn't even, like, a black screen! Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry.
Hey, the good thing is, no trailers, no commercials.
Yeah, it just went right into it. That's probably why it only took an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it only took like an hour.
No, it was an hour and 17 minutes. I looked at my phone as soon as we got there.
No, it wasn't that long. It was only like 11:13.
Started at 12:02, ended at 1, ended at no, it started at 10:02, ended at 11:17.
It's roughly an hour, a little more.
No, so. I know. I must be right. Because I'm a jerk like that. No. Anyway, so
yeah, that was Equestria Girls. There may be a spin-off series.
It has ponies and demons at high school.
Regardless, I give it a thumbs up.
It's a hoof up.
Yeah.
I walked out enjoying I walked out enjoying myself, so I give it a bro hoof.
Bro hoof.
Come on, guys. Just
bro hoof.
No, just do it on your screen real quick. Just do it. Okay, I felt it. Okay, I felt it.
Alright. Until next time, I'm Catsy Critic.
I'm One Sat Morn.
And I'm Schwiggy Schwa.
Yep. And we'll see you next time.
I should put this on the DVD.
Bye, every pony!